In this exercise, we're going to discuss adding and editing revision tables. So to start with, we're going to come up to the Annotate tab, and you can open up any of the drawings we've been working on. It doesn't really matter which one you use. And we're going to come up here to the top, and we're going to say Revision Table. First thing it asks you is, do you want to do the entire drawing, or do you just want to do the active sheet? You could have 6 or 7 sheets in here, and you could have the revision table only on the first sheet, so the entire drawing set, so to speak, or you can have it on each active sheet. I like to have it on each sheet because each sheet could be different. You also have the ability to determine, are your revisions going to be alphanumeric? I definitely like alpha. My revisions are always ABC. I don't know why, but I've always done that. Numeric to me, I guess, gets too much into the part number. And I want to update the property on revision number edit. In other words, in your I properties, you have a revision number, and it's set at version A to start with. And then if I need to add another row in the table, it'll automatically update the revision number in the I properties. And we'll go look at that in just a second. I hit OK. And in the last exercise, we set up our style. So we should have style Andy. Looks like we're good to go. And whenever you get close to a line, you'll notice that it kind of pops to it, snaps to it almost. And if you get next to a corner, it'll snap to it as well. Now, I always do my revision A as the original, and I don't really have to worry about it. It's good to go. Once I need to add another row, I just double click on it, and I come in here, and I could say Insert Row. Now, I have Insert Revisions, and then Insert Row. If I say Insert Row, this is still the original, it's just row 2. This is our Insert Row, and this is Remove Row. If I come over to this icon that says Add Revision Rows, you'll notice it changes the revision to Revision B. So that's the reason I changed it. It automatically changed it to Revision B for me, and I can save it. I actually can sort by different revision options. I can export this list out. I can look at the table layout as far as how it's set up, and just go from the bottom up or top down, the name of it. And then I can come over here and look at iProperties, so I can attach iProperties to it. And then I can update the property on number revision. Now that's just a toggle, that's on or off. iProperties would actually take me out to the iProperties, so I can see that revision B now is the active revision. So it's automatically updated that. If I come in here and add another row, and I hit iProperties, you'll notice that it's now revision C, because I keep changing it. Every time you add a row, it changes it. You don't have to type text in there, but I highly encourage you, if you're making a revision, then that means you're changing something. So make a good revision there. I can choose if I want to add additional columns at this point, and it will not override my style. It'll just be on this particular drawing. Maybe I need to have engineering approval and management approval in this particular set or something like that. So we can go through and just have a revision special to this drawing. Hit OK. So now I have my revision table in there. If I go into the description column and I have a very long description, if I get really long-winded there, you can see that it will actually take and do word wrap. But let's say I didn't want a word wrap because it's getting into my part. What I can do is I can spread this out a little bit, make that longer. The longer I make it, the more room it's going to have. It will push this other stuff off my page. I can just grab my table, drag it back over, and it'll snap back in my corner. I wanted to make my name a little bit shorter. If you want to make something shorter, you go from right to left. If you want to make something longer, you go from left to right. So I can push in there as tight as I want. I'm just trying to cram as much space in there as I can. So, that's just a little too tight. I can spread that back out, spread that out. Or I can say, you know what? I don't care to have 2 rows of text, I just don't want to have 3. So you can play with it and you can stretch it back and forth and you can force it to be the revision table that you want it to be. You can actually add these headers and descriptions and change the way they look, make them bold. But for the most part, this is a pretty standard revision table. If I do drag it down, I can snap it down here, or I can snap it over here beside it. The best way to move it is not to grab the lines like I just did there. Is to actually grab the text. For whatever reason, I find if I grab the text, it's the easiest way to move it. If I move it down here and I say, just on this particular one, I can come in here and look at my actual table layout, and I could change it so it goes the other way. Okay. So basically now revisions at the bottom, it works its way up, so the one at the top is now the newest. It's however you want it to go, however you're used to. Try to make it look like your office drawing standards. If your office really doesn't have any drawing standards, try to make it look like everybody else's. The easiest way to do it. You can play with it some, figure out how to get it to look the most usable for you. Try to see how you can do it. And then the next thing we'll look at is actually adding revision tags that associate back to this revision table.